Hey everyone, hope you're having an amazing day. Today we're diving into the story of a woman who came home covered in mud and blood, and what her billionaire husband did next completely broke the internet. If you enjoy this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss what's coming next. She stumbled through the mud, blood mixing with rainwater, and had no idea the next 5 minutes would completely destroy everything she thought she knew about him. If you've ever watched someone fall, really fall, not just trip, and then watched how the person who loves them reacts, you know that's the moment you find out who they really are. Not when things are easy, when things are messy, literally. So stay with me, because what happens next in this farmhouse is going to hit you right in the chest. It had just stopped raining. The kind of rain that doesn't last long, but leaves everything behind it soaked, heavy, and slippery. The dirt roads turned to soup. The leaves on the hillside were still dripping. The air had that thick, wet smell of earth that only comes right after a storm. That smell that somehow makes you feel like the whole world just got a fresh start. Tieu Lac didn't care about any of that. Because early spring bamboo shoots, the first ones of the season, the tender ones that push up through the soil right after rain, only show up for a few days. Miss the window, and you're waiting for next year. So the moment the sky cleared even a little, she grabbed her woven basket, slung it over her back, picked up her digging spade, and headed straight up the hill. She wasn't thinking about the mud. She wasn't thinking about how slick the path would be. She was thinking about dinner, about the farm, about doing her part, the way she always did, without waiting to be asked. That's who she is. She doesn't wait for perfect conditions. She just goes. The trail up the hillside twisted through bamboo groves, and normally this was her favorite walk. The smell of wet bamboo, the quiet crunch of leaves underfoot, the little thrill of finding a fresh shoot poking up through the ground like a secret the earth was letting her in on. Some days she'd spend 20 minutes just wandering, filling her basket slowly, enjoying the quiet. But today the ground had other plans. Every step after the rain was a gamble. The dirt looked solid but wasn't. Roots she'd stepped over 100 times were suddenly slick as glass. She was maybe halfway up, basket getting heavier with every shoot she dug out, humming a little tune to herself, feeling good about the haul she was bringing home. And then her foot slid. It happened so fast there wasn't even time to catch herself. 1 second she was upright, spade in hand, and the next the world just tilted. Her arms shot out. Her basket swung wildly, and she went down hard, sliding a few feet down the muddy slope before finally stopping against a rock. For a second, she just lay there. Not because she was hurt badly, but because she was stunned. The kind of fall where your brain needs a second to catch up to what your body just experienced. The rain-soaked ground pressed cold against her back. Somewhere above her, a bird kept calling, completely indifferent to the fact that her whole afternoon had just gone sideways. Then the sting hit. Her palms were scraped raw from trying to catch herself. Her knee throbbed where it had scraped against something hard hidden under the mud. And when she finally sat up and looked down at herself, she almost laughed. Almost. Because she was covered, head to toe practically. Mud smeared up her arms, streaked across her clothes, packed into the creases of her hands. Her pants were torn slightly at the knee, and underneath a thin line of blood was already mixing with the dirt, turning it a dull, rusty color. Her basket had tipped over a few feet away. Some of the bamboo shoots had rolled out and were now half buried in mud. She crawled over, scooped them back in one by one, because even hurt, even embarrassed, even a little shaken, she wasn't about to leave the harvest behind. This was still dinner for tonight. This was still work that mattered. Some habits don't stop just because your knee is bleeding. She got herself up slowly, wincing, using the spade as a makeshift cane. Her ankle wasn't broken, but it definitely didn't feel right either. Something between a sharp twinge and a dull ache that promised to get worse before it got better. Every step down the hill was a limp, a wobble, a wince. And here's the part that gets me every time I think about this story. It wasn't the pain that hurt the most. It was the thought of walking back into the farmhouse looking like this. Because when you've scraped yourself up, when you're covered in mud, When you feel small and clumsy and a little pathetic, some tiny part of you braces for judgment before it even happens. You start rehearsing the excuse in your head. You start bracing for the sigh, the "I told you to be careful," the look that says, "Great, now I have to deal with this too." That's just what falling does to people. It doesn't just hurt your body, it messes with your confidence a little too. It makes you feel, for a moment, like a burden instead of a person. So as Tieu Lac made her way down that hill, basket back on her shoulders, mud caked into her hair, blood drying on her knee, every step a small wince, she wasn't just in physical pain, she felt embarrassed, small, a little sorry for herself, the kind of feeling where you just want to disappear quietly and clean yourself up before anyone notices. The farmhouse came into view through the trees, smoke curling gently from the chimney, warm light spilling from the windows despite the gray afternoon. Normally, that sight made her feel instantly better. Home, safety, warmth. The smell of something cooking, the sound of the wind chimes by the door. But today, with every limping step closer, her stomach twisted a little tighter. Because inside that farmhouse was Quan, the man who ran one of the biggest companies in the country. Suits, boardrooms, decisions worth more money than she'd see in 10 lifetimes. A man used to control, precision, things going exactly according to plan, schedules that ran on time, meetings that started on the dot. A world where mistakes were rare and consequences were swift. And here she was, muddy, bleeding, limping home like a kid who'd fallen off her bike, dragging half a hillside on her clothes. She took a breath at the edge of the yard, tried and failed to wipe some of the mud off her sleeve. Her hand hovered over the door for just a moment, long enough for every insecure thought to crowd in at once. What if he's annoyed? What if he thinks I'm careless? What if this is the moment he starts seeing me differently? Not as someone he's proud to stand beside, but someone who needs to be managed, cleaned up after, tolerated. She pushed the door open anyway, because whatever was waiting on the other side, standing out there in the cold, muddy, and bleeding, wasn't going to fix anything. And some part of her, the tired, aching, 12-year-old inside every adult part, just wanted to go home, even if home came with judgment attached. She had absolutely no idea what she was about to walk into, because what happened in the next few minutes wasn't what she expected. Not even close. It wasn't a sigh. It wasn't a lecture. It wasn't even a single raised eyebrow. And once you see how this man actually responds, not with a word of blame, not with one complaint, not 1 ounce of the reaction she'd spent the entire walk home bracing for, you're going to understand exactly why this moment became the one she never forgot. The door creaked open, and before Tieu Lac could even say a word, Quan was already on his feet. Not walking, not strolling over with a casual, "Oh, what happened to you?" Moving, fast. The kind of fast that told you his brain had already skipped past what happened and jumped straight to, "How do I fix this?" He crossed the room in maybe 3 strides, and Tieu Lac barely had time to brace herself. For the question, for the look, for whatever reaction she'd spent the entire walk, down that hill preparing for, before his hands were already reaching for the basket on her back. "Here, give me this," he said, and it wasn't a question. He lifted the heavy basket off her shoulders like it weighed nothing. Like the only thing that mattered in that moment was getting the weight off her body, and set it down on the floor by the door without even glancing at what was inside. No comment about the mud on it. No comment about the bamboo shoots scattered on top, some of them still half-caked in dirt. None of that registered to him at all, because his eyes were already on her, on the mud smeared up her arms, on the torn fabric at her knee, on the thin line of blood mixing with dirt just below it. And here's the thing about that moment that I think a lot of us miss when we imagine it. There wasn't a flicker of annoyance on his face. Not 1 second of, "Great, now I have to deal with this." Just focus. Total, immediate focus. like someone had flipped a switch in him the second he saw her standing in that doorway. "Sit," he said, guiding her. Not pushing, guiding, one hand steady under her elbow, toward the chair by the window. "Right here." Tieu Lac opened her mouth to protest, to say she was fine, that she just needed to wash up, that he didn't need to fuss over her. Like this. That's usually how it goes, right? Someone falls, someone's embarrassed, and the instinct is to wave it off. "I'm fine, really, it's nothing." Because somewhere along the way, a lot of us learn that needing help is something to apologize for. But Quan didn't give her the chance to finish the sentence. He was already moving toward the kitchen, and a moment later she heard the unmistakable sound of a kettle being filled, then set down with purpose, not rushed and frantic, but deliberate. Like he'd done this before. Like some part of him had already mapped out exactly what needed to happen next, step by step. The same way he probably walked into a boardroom already knowing exactly how a negotiation needed to go. When he came back, he was carrying a basin, warm water, steam curling gently off the surface. He set it down on the floor in front of her chair, and then, and this is the part that gets me every single time I picture it, he knelt. This man, the one who sat across from investors twice his age and didn't blink. The one who'd built an empire out of boardrooms and cold calculations. The one whose name alone could make a room go quiet. He knelt down on the floor, one knee pressed into the wood, sleeves rolled up past his elbows, and gently, so gently, took her foot into his hands. Tieu Lac froze, not because it hurt, because it didn't feel like something that was supposed to happen. Not like this, not from him. He didn't say anything dramatic. He didn't make some big speech about how much he cared. He just worked, methodically, carefully, dipping the cloth in the warm water, wringing it out, and running it slowly over the dried mud caked into her skin, watching it dissolve and lift away one careful stroke at a time. When he got to the scrape on her knee, his hands slowed down even more. He leaned in a little closer, studying it, checking how deep it was, how much it had bled, whether there was any dirt still caught in the wound. His jaw tightened slightly. Not in anger, but in something closer to concern he was trying not to show too much of. "This is going to sting a little," he said quietly, reaching for the small tube of antiseptic he'd apparently grabbed on his way back with the basin. He'd thought of everything already, and it did sting. Tieu Lac winced, sucking in a breath through her teeth, and immediately his free hand came up, not stopping what he was doing, but resting lightly against her ankle, steady, grounding. Like he was silently saying, "I know it hurts. I'm still here, almost done." He finished cleaning the wound, smoothed the antiseptic over it with careful precision, and then did the same for the scrapes on her palms, turning her hands over gently in his, checking each one, like he was inspecting something precious. Not once did he ask what happened. Not once did he say, "You should have been more careful." Not once did his face show anything, close to frustration. And that's when it hit Tieu Lac, really hit her. This wasn't pity. This wasn't him doing the bare minimum because he felt obligated. This was a man who saw the person he loved come home hurt, and instead of thinking about the mess, instead of thinking about his own spotless hands now smeared with mud and dried blood, he thought about her. Only her. Her eyes started to sting, and it had nothing to do with the antiseptic. She looked down at him, this powerful, composed, untouchable man kneeling on the floor in front of her, patiently tending to her scraped up feet like it was the most natural thing in the world, and something in her chest just cracked open. Because so many people, when you show up messy, when you show up less than perfect, when you show up as anything other than put together, they flinch. Even just a little. Even if they don't mean to. He didn't flinch. Not once. "There," he finally said, sitting back on his heels, examining his work with the same quiet focus he probably gave to million-dollar decisions. "Better?" Tieu Lac couldn't answer right away. Her throat was tight, and if she opened her mouth, she wasn't sure what would come out. Words or something closer to tears. So instead, she just nodded and reached out, resting her hand against the side of his face. the same hands he just spent 10 minutes gently cleaning. He leaned into it without hesitation, mud-streaked fingers and all. And in that moment, sitting in that quiet farmhouse with the rain long gone and the fire crackling softly in the background, Tieu Lac understood something. She'd probably known all along, but had never seen proven so clearly. It's easy to love someone when everything's clean, when everything's easy, when there's nothing to clean up, nothing inconvenient, nothing messy standing between you and the version of them you want to see. The real test comes when someone shows up covered in mud and blood and embarrassment, and you find out whether the person in front of you reaches for a towel or reaches for you. Quan reached for her every single time. She goes out after the rain to dig for early spring bamboo shoots, and on the slippery hillside path, she falls hard, scraping her hands and cutting her knee, covering herself head to toe in mud. Embarrassed and aching, she limps home, dreading how her powerful, controlled husband will react to the mess. But instead of frustration, he rushes to take the heavy basket off her back, sits her down, and kneels on the floor himself. With warm water and quiet focus, he gently cleans every scrape, treats her wound, and never once complains about the dirt on his own hands. No lecture, no sigh, just steady care. In that quiet farmhouse moment, she realizes real love isn't tested when things are easy. It's proven when someone shows up messy, and the person beside them chooses to help instead of judge.